we transmitting to your amazing feed? Amazing services? Mm. And just to note, YouTube, apparently you've not been in the game for the longest, and you still very up your own back, back area about all this copyright stuff and all the means to share around that. I think you should open it up a lot more for that. You can have a separate thing for that. Just let people fucking share. Because I think what's the point if you just can't share shit? Rumble seemed to be ahead of you with that, and they seem to be came later along their lines. So there's no excuse. YouTube have been around for the longest, and it seems to me like y'all are going the other way, and you're not willing to improve upon the amount of diversity being shared, regardless of what people are doing within the so many of the same spectrum, or with a certain narrative. How would you say? There's not much really around things that people like to do within the the entertainment space. It's you all just want to force everyone to just whatever, just take data from them, just face things and only whatever, all this stuff. That's what it's turning into. Well, a lot of it. And you've got games, because obviously people love games, so they'll sit you on that. But that's another ball game altogether. But honestly, you really need to start opening up your area a lot more arena for people like to share within the entertainment space to others, because people might like to commune on that, and they may not like to feel forced to feel extracted or DNA extracted from them, or whatever you're using for your fucking shit. Like I said, more people need to be able to expand the amount of diversity and things being shown on the platform, so they'll allow every kind of different things. There's no excuses. This shit's been daunting, this crap, forever, this copyright crap, and I think it's about time you start opening it up, because we're not the first or the last or even exist on the planet that had mentioned a lot around that, and people talking up about the copyright stuff and how they're demonizing, or how should I say, it's just a word for it, other videos, because people are trying to, you can get caught in a game or whatever, where they're just trying to share their experience. So you're all just corporate, and you just want money. You don't give a shit. You're not working around the situation. You get all that. You got all the money. You got you earn all the headquarters, and you won't even give not even the least of people to share. So you could improve your practice ASAP, I think, because it would just give a lot more people to play around in that world. And it's not bad. You give people jack crap to do. It's no wonder why you have just so many things, and just at this point, what is there much to commune on? And people will just be empty-handed and just find something to just it's like there's nothing. So it's like, at the end of the day, if you improve the amount of things that you're getting and the amount of spaces that or interests that you're willing to add, it will keep people constructive with something, or busy with something constructive, instead of just it just being like a DNA extraction hub of like whatever, you have to prove something and this, that, the other, and all the other. And if people don't, they get all agitated about it, because you see, the thing is, you're not opening up more diversity, you're not opening up more spaces for people, so people can't express themselves the way they want. So people just have no result but to become agitated about the process, and then they make excuses why nothing is done. Well, we're setting an example that you can make something out of the situation. And you can stand up and say your piece as well, and say if you don't like a certain treatment, or you like to share a certain perspective, and you're feeling limited of that, let the platforms know, like we have. Of course, we've made tons of videos, and we're pinning things in accordance to what we're doing, of course, and we like the passion around that. But of course, when you just have a media where you're just not able to share as willingly as you like, you're just constraining the amount of options that people have, and people, if people want to put certain points across, how can they, if they're able to entity? This is how greedy and selfish and destructive these organizations really are, and that needs to be assessed ASAP. Because you know what, I'd like to keep something going that I like to share with my fans and my audience, that they might have to care about, and simple as that. If you're just going to deplete us of that, if you're going to restrict us of that, it takes away from the whole element of sharing and space of like that. Especially if you all have been in the game for the longest, YouTube. You've been in the game for the longest, and you happen to be going the other way. You're not improving upon your service range. You're not doing anything like that. Give people more options to express how they like within any kinds of art forms, entertainment space, you name it. And you could do something around the copyrights. Let them just share it and stop penalizing people and people complaining. There's no problem if people are just sharing an art piece or sharing a piece of work, or they're sharing a film or sharing a whatever. There's no problem. They're just sharing a perspective. They're just sharing a whatever. They're not whatever. I get the whole the money aspect to it. Fair enough. But you could still update it so people still have the option to share, and within all the other stuff, it's understandable. But just give them the option to share, and you shouldn't be punishing them, because we've been going through this work on your YouTube because of this crap for the longest. YouTube, it's nothing new. And you've been shutting us down because of rigorous copyright and all kinds of stuff. When it's just you don't care about your communities. You don't care about your audience. People are uploading hundreds, if not hundreds, of videos and perspectives, and they're just deleted because of a few little things. That, in all honesty, it's just control, complete control, and you all are not opening up the spaces a little bit. So I think I understand the rules around anything disorderly or anything crazy or anything like that to be uploaded. That should be managed, of course. Safety, everything like that, I approve of. But you shouldn't be restricting people of their art and the way they like to express themselves. End of story. I just wanted to share this piece just before we get anywhere else. It's kind of embarrassing to see that a lot of other platforms seem to be more ahead of the game than YouTube, and YouTube's practices, I could say for the longest, have been utterly disgusting. And I'd like to be an impact or an impact of saying and standing at the forefront and saying, well, you all could have a bit more of a versatile space, diversity for everybody. People could express their shit, and that's just coming personally from me. Thank you very much. I'm going to get on with our game now. Because that's one of many battles before we get anywhere. I mean, look, the hell. One of many battles, being able to share the stuff at least. And then you've got like causes and things like that. You've got all these things going on, but then again, to share the information. That's the most crucial. That's the most crucial thing. The most crucial thing, even if it's whatever, it's excuse. It's the most crucial thing, because that goes a long way. That makes a big difference. You see. People don't bear that in mind, especially when we're tagging causes that people supposedly don't have. It's just whatever. It's just we just put it up there for the sake of it. It's nothing. Apparently we didn't start to this degree. We just put it there. We could just focus on the videos, and as we do gaming, that's fair enough. But especially if people have causes, now I'm mentioning it particularly, and we have things that are to be catered to and looked at. It's absolutely utterly disgusting that this is how they think of their communities. This is how they think of people, and it's no different to any practices out there. You see, all this. I'm just manifesting and praying that all of this will be sorted out, and people that actually have things to present, they can present it, and whatever the case may be, because you've got all these prisons around all this stuff, and it's just interrupting when you're trying to work. When you're trying to work and you're trying to put your whatever you like to do, whatever it is, it's very disrupting, especially when we don't, We're just going to use this example. Forget it about what preference to it. We're just saying, use an example. When we're pitting something that we care about and what we're raising awareness on, and we see the practices like that, it's very disrupting. Because we're putting out something that people may relate to. that actually have a, as far as what we do on our channels and is tagged and stuff like that. We're just using it as an example. It could be, we're just using an example, and it's disgusting when you're dealing with that prison. And that like, that fiery fucking arrows just coming straight to you from shit like that, when you're trying to keep a cause going, or a certain thing going, or whatever the case, or just whatever you're like to put up, yeah, you're trying to, it's utterly disgusting, and nothing is being done and investigated around that, personally. And more of the youth and more of the generation and just being swept with everything, with all the nonsense on the internet, all the stupidity and all the risk and all that stuff, and we're not paying attention to what make the platform a nice place for everybody, so that people could use the fucking platform. This is why we said in many videos that we've made, it's fucking messy. It's really messy. And people just don't have a chance, because people are just too concerned about just the idiot that's just going along the road and doing some jump high backflips or whatever. I mean, it may seem cool to watch, but the attention isn't being stirred towards, well, how can we improve the platforms? How can we open up the space for others? Why isn't there anything being done about just about any kind of situations? It's just, a lot of people have just been accustomed to falling more with the narrative and going more with the narrative than they are actually taking a bit more responsibility and saying, well, I'd like to actually play my part to have a voice there. I'd like to play my part to have a voice there. You'd be raging your platforms immediately. You'd be spreading it. You'd be adding so much to it by now. But we just wanted to raise our side of the story. That, as far as we're concerned, we like to come onto the platform and we like to use it and make the most out of the service, and we like to get the best out of the service. And you should already have been paying us for the longest anyway. You should already be giving us an exchange. Personally, you should already be paying us for every time we upload on your service. A nice proportionary exchange, I think. And in addition to that, I would just say for the platforms in general, but I just wanted to pinpoint on YouTube specifically. And in addition to that, we'd like to say that I would love to impact the causes I have running, and I'm so grateful and honoured, and that I'm able to put that up and do that. And keep that passion for the way, our perspective of the way we're streaming going, as much as anybody else's as well, because that's what makes a fucking difference. You lot want to ignore people's concerns, ignore the community. I'm afraid we don't have much to say then. Enjoy the way where they want to put if the platform. Enjoy the way you want to be a custom platform, because I don't see any meaning if people can't express themselves, and people can't put up nice things that could like change things and bring things to and better things, and people can have good quality experiences. I don't see any fucking meaning if personally. When I like to come, like I said, when I like to come out of the platform, I like to enjoy the most out of it. I like to make the most out of it. I like to invoke passions and interests that people care about as well, that they like to have the opportunity to come out and do, and not waste time, because they like to share these experiences, yeah, and they like to learn something and take something. That's what it's about. If y'all are just gonna just whatever you behind your quarters, whatever demon YouTube is running behind that. If y'all are just gonna not consider your communities and just force everybody upon the narrative, I'm afraid there's not much versatile diversity on your platform anymore. And it's just to say that it's just looking utterly chaotic and chaos. So there's nothing more we could really add to that. We just wanted to really pin it on that and like to close it now. I hope that's something to take for your systems, or you just feed into the system, if anything, because we're done as far as I'm concerned about that topic. We've made our point about it. That's great. And it's not just about us. I'd like more people to be able to represent what they like to bring onto the platform that's fair and sensible, and they'd like to, and all kinds of different things, because that's what will expand the versatileness and diversity of the space, and you'll be having a lot more attraction and all kinds of things, and you'll look good. Your platforms will look good if you actually care about your communities. If you actually give them an exchange to you, maybe start paying us. All that. Same with all the other platforms. They all should start paying us. This should include it, and they all should give us more flexibility. You will all look great. You'll all look good. I'm glad. I'm honoured to use your platforms. You know what I mean? Thank you very much. Anyway, we're gonna close it on that. Let people express themselves. Let them spread their awareness, however they like to do it. Work around the copyright is fine. Let them upload the copyright. There's no problem. You shouldn't dismiss people because of that. Let people express themselves, and certainly support some good causes, because that's what makes not even a difference to people that grew up around cultures and things that they care about, and they'd like to see that revived, and they'd like to support that vision. Thank you very much. Much love. Thank you very much. So that would definitely be something to edit. That's for sure. I could be playing while I was talking, I guess, but I guess we just happened to pause it. That's fair enough. It could just be a good chat on the. And then it looked nice anyway. It got like a holographics. It's got like squares and all that stuff. I mean, we're not the only ones, surely. This is been a daunting issue for this stuff for the longest. Daunting on people's videos and all that. It's just funny because YouTube have been there forever. So you just think that they'd have a lot more, of course, they're the biggest organisation, I guess you could say. So there's all that to it. But you just think by now they would have at least been more ahead, or maybe they'd catch up to some extent. You see what I mean? It's just, like I said, it's just everything is just all within the narrative driven a lot of the time, and they're just forgetting about and negating the other kind of things. So it's good to raise that as a concern.
Damn street performers, freak!
Are you good? You still bouncing around? It's alright, innit?
Ezio, about time you got here. We found Bernardo Baroncelli.
Ottima notizia. Tell me where he is and I'll see that he's dealt with.
That's the trap. Lorenzo actually had him arrested days ago, after being returned to us from Constantinople. But he escaped. We believe him to be somewhere inside San Gimignano.
Va bene. I'll see if I can't pin him down.
How do you expect to succeed where the rest of us have failed?
I have my ways.
Assassinate. We'll focus on that. I'm going to focus on all the other stuff that they're giving us as well, because you take a lot in. It's interesting, rather than just the conclusion, which is always the conclusion.
Might have to deal with this one.
And this is where they take the piss in this. Like it's just that, and then they'll give you things about what's behind the things, and it takes the piss. Like what the control of this piece or the control of that. But they always want to keep it like, you know. So just to entertain the how do I say it? You'll probably get the idea.
One day at a time. He'll get bored, lost, confused, distracted.
Entertain the competition or whatever.
It'll be okay. If he does come,
All this shit.
if it happens,
That's what all this shit is, isn't it?
never in one place for long. Only how to sleep, when to sleep.
I just like to relax when I'm doing my vibe, personally. I like to be able to just, you know,
They don't know. I'll pay them, yes.
enjoy,
Then what will it matter?
like, you know what I mean?
All they care about is coin.
And have a good experience rather than just like whatever. Like,
Good for the brotherhood, good for me.
what's the convenience?
Safer this way.
There's so much out there.
Yes, I'll ask.
There's so many discoveries. There's so many like things that are just exciting. And look at the concerns nowadays. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like there's just so many exciting things. Like the things to be, you know, to get involved. You know, but you know, like just anything constructive. Like I said, you know, anything cool.
Come to
There's
spy.
just so much.
No. It's my letters.
You wouldn't believe.
Calm.
And you've got all this shit going on. It's like,
Must stay
well,
focused. And soon this will be done.
it's good that we made that point then, because like, you know, I'm not mingling with their with where they're going personally. I like to have more of a range on what excitement I like to bring on the platform, for instance, yeah, because I know there's so much than just how they want to really just rig it and contain it, and the whole lot of it, because that's what it's about. You've got so much. But people just see, they just you just fall accustomed to a certain thing, and that just becomes something that you probably used to see. But when you're really honest with yourself, is it really what you want to do? Is it really something that how you want to express yourself? So you know, it's good that you know we sort of put that as a proclaimer, like that we're doing that, and this is an example, so that people can have a bit of self-confidence. Because as I said, people are dealing enough with their own mental prison, I'd say, before anything. So I think if more people have more self-confidence to raise some queries, concerns, issues, whatever it is, you'll be shaping the shit today. You'll be shaping the shit today, honestly. The whole dynamic of the shit will shift. But at this rate, it's just, you know, a matter of time, because people, you know, all kinds of things going on. You see, and that's the thing. But if we could just if we could just pinpoint by the video that we've said and the points that we've made, just as an idea, then that's good enough for us. Because I don't want it to just be about us. I'm just saying, like, you know, sometimes people just like to come out and use the platform and want to feel heard and want to be a part of something.
One day at a time.
They don't want to feel negated or left out.
Lost, confused,
You know?
distracted.
And if it's sensitive, of course, if it's good,
Does come.
there's nothing to worry.
And keep
So
it up.
I completely understand the things around a lot of the things,
Only how to sleep.
you know, that's understandable. But when it comes to freedom of expression and like what people like to put out, what vibes, what kindles their vibe or whatever, I think there's just a lot of, like I say, there's just a lot of political intervention about that, and a lot of, like, you know, it's just like it's aggravation around these issues, because it just seems to confront a lot of the workings of you know, should you say, you know, the way they want to push the narrative, of course. So it's like, you know, I think that's the fear factor for a lot of people, because people just fall in line with it rather than actually stand up and say something and say, well, yeah, I don't want to put up with this. You know? It's not really for me. I'd like to show up in this way, and I'd like to do that. This is something that I feel for. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. If that's the point we had to make, just to give it maybe a bit of motivations, that's good. Because I sure as hell, like, at the end of the day, I'd like to see improvement. I'd like to see improvement after all this time using their service personally, for the longest, you know, YouTube, you know, for the longest. Never mind where it carries over to, but you know, you see what I mean? Because I've been a long-term YouTuber forever, so it's just kind of upsetting to see that where they're taking it personally. And you know, I'm glad we raised some points about that, you know. Let that relate to any type of things you can relate it to. It doesn't just have to be that. You know, you can relate to it wherever you like. It's just an example. So it's within that area. I'm gonna go up here. Oh. It's okay, you can go about your things. You get some extra money for spotting me and going to check over there. So you get extra money for that. It's not bad. But they're just not telling you. That's the thing. So they're not going to tell you.
If it happens, I keep never in one place for long. Only how to sleep.
Well, yeah, like I said, with these original games here,
They don't know.
the format was there, and I like the format here. Like when they just like Assassin's Creed just went off it. The themes are fine in the origins. I still gotta like mingle around there, play around that, because I'm interested with the themes that they got going on there. But the gameplay was the mechanics were just so simple and good then, and just they didn't ruin the whole thing. It was just that's what it was, and that's what it is. And then so when what I'm saying is we're sway off. It's not the same, mate.
No.
So I'm curious to see where they go with the remake. Anyway, if they decide to remake one of the Assassin's Creed games,
Soon this will be done.
because they said they're going to remake the first one, isn't it, or something like that. So I'm curious to see what they do with that. That's quite exciting. If people are big fans of these, I mean, of course, this is a big game. People like it. So it's a popular one. But you know, the series was good for it's just so popular. The series was good at the beginning. And then you just had to. Why can't you just like keep the shit and then just capitalize on it? Like, or however you say, like keep all the original stuff, the elements, and just if you want to add more, that's fine. They just have to change it completely. Like that. That's what takes the fucking piss with me. That's what takes the piss. Like, you know, a bit like Rainbow Six. Like it's not the same. Like you're breaching in doors with your squaddies and breaching clear. It's just like proper fucking teamwork. And now they just made it into it may as well be a simulator now, another kind of COD simulator. Personally, like a tactical shooter. It's not Rainbow Six. When you sway off a franchise, it's just like anything you all grow up with. It's not the same. So you know, bit of motivation there. It's just kind of crazy, you know, just think that, come on, why is nothing done about this shit? The fuck? People just want to just watch anything and nothing's done. It's just lunacy to me. But it's alright, mate, you know what I mean? We keep the thing going here. I'm gonna dive bomb in here. It's interesting how you can like work around what you have here and just like see what you can do in the moment. How you like to work around the thing and how you want to get to the target. That's fine. He's getting away. That's alright. We're getting back into the rhythms again. This is insane though. The square things and all that. It's just like proper. They're giving you like glitch in the matrix kind of thing. They have to do that, isn't it? And that's the highlight for the DNA strands and all the stuff that they got in there. That's all interesting, good information. Like about you know.
Break something, you idiot! Stop it!
You are a 12-strand DNA, or even beyond. They give us 5-strand DNA. Bullshit. Give us the best DNAs, so we can activate our potential.
Take things one day at a time.
That's a way you can like relate to.
Lost. Confused. Distracted. Killed. It'll be okay.
It's all right. There'll be time. There'll be time to like run around in a bit. I like making some points. There's certain points. I want to make some points. I got to lock into you and all that. Yeah. I want to just use my fist. Use your fist.
I will be protected. We'll meet when it's time. Now leave this place. Free. In time. Good time. Wait. What is that? I saw something.
He's right. Yeah, he's got.
Gennady, come to spy. No. No. Just my nerves. Hard to stay calm, knowing that he seeks me. I must stay focused, and soon this will be done. Soon.
You all can fight. Go ahead. That was good. That was good. That was good. There you go. Use have some butlers to protect.
Where is Jacopo?
So you can do to him what you've done
In
to
this
me?
glitch
There
world.
is still time for you to clear your conscience.
We gather at the church when a meeting is called.
Il duole dove raggiungere a tanto.
And don't worry, it's just a simulation because, like the people are focusing on the trivial crap and not the things that are actually behind the things that is hitting the soldiers. So that's what we're fighting. But they're just going to simulate it as that, so they can just keep the stuff hidden. So that you can just always make excuse to always fight forever. Pretty much. So we just the simulation is something else basically. It's like another positions. So instead of you seeing what you're seeing, it's like something else is happening. They have to do that obviously because of the narratives and the politics and all this other stuff. And to keep the thing going. It's just the perspectives, we're just giving perspectives. You don't need to take anything. You can take whatever you want. Yeah, you've got all kinds of crazy things going on, but it's they just go straight into the Ribena in this. They'll go straight into the Ribena. Silent Ribena. I like I say, things that can be mitigated in a lot of ways. I know that for sure, and that's why we say our piece at least for the things that we mentioned. So there's less pressure, and people can be heard in this kind of thing, and there's not a lot of things because, like I said, a lot of things are just going. It's just moving rapidly, and people are just moving, and it's like we're missing out on things that. Okay, well, what's you see, and that's just where it's because they want to keep people mentally locked on this competitive. Ongoing competitive things like just whatever. I just want to prove this, prove that, the other, this, that, the other. What's the delight anymore? Where's the delight in all the other showings and all the other interests that will keep you busy, keep you doing something constructive, learn something something that you'll take something from. Where's that? Because you just focused on and this the whole agenda with their shit anyway that they push. That's why it doesn't feel the same to me. Like with the way they want to push a lot of the games anyway. Never mind you getting like, just as an analogy, just like maybe 1, 2, 3 games, or 5 games that might be good. But yeah, that's the whole thing really. That's the whole thing behind this shit. To be fair, it should not appear that you were involved, but the crowd is starting to recognize your things. Ideally, eliminate them without using weapons. But yeah, you get the point. Like it's all about just giving people. This is why we give our side of the story, or of it, tell people. You see what I mean? Just to let people know that look, we're passionate about what we're doing, but you don't need to. It's nothing to do with us. It's your things that you go and buy, your toys that you go and buy, things that you go and consume. Like this is what we like sharing, as you see, awareness of. So it's like if people take the time to understand the era, for instance, as an example, you'd see a lot more within that range, and it would have just been meddled with and all the rest of it. You'd be getting what you like.
Hi mate, you alright mate?
Yeah, you alright, mate?
I didn't know, I probably just lost the track of like...
No, it's fine, man. It's going to cost about a tenner, alright?
That's completely fine if I could just like read them. I do apologise.
No worries, man.
I was just so ingrained in what I'm in my way. So.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you ever so much.
Ah. So what we were saying, yeah, like as we were saying, that's an example, like but at the same time, we're enjoying the process. Like it's about enjoying it. Like we're not going to sit here and like hold a weight on everything, if a lot of people are just being swept quickly by a lot of the stuff and not really taking the time to look into stuff and so that's the thing. A lot with this generation especially. I think it's just really up to you what you wanna do and so what you wanna impact. But if you're just rushing around and what these expectations have and whatnot, then that's all you'll have in that arena. But it's up to you to like I said, you have to play an part on what you like to spark that to become. You can't just wait for the service to do it, because they're not. They're just for the longest, as we discussed, they've been such a it's just been such a reins of just buried just behind a prison of just crazy amount of rules that they have, things that is just intervene. It's like when you're trying to upload your videos or when you're trying to do your things, it's just like a lot of interferences and things that people have just been dealing with forever on this. So it's you just have to whatever, mate, if we could say we're presenting this again or whatever, or we put the presentations, then I don't really see why it can't be the experience. It's all about that, the experience that you want to create it, instead of just putting up with the same things all the time and just is not much. When you created something, you're engaging with that quality, you're not going to feel constrained because of the limitation of or whatever. You're adding the quality to the shit. That's what it's about, I think, anyway. People just, there's quantity everywhere. Just just consume, but it's just, where's the quality anymore? There's not much now. Because we're just, it's just like, it's like a not bothered mentality. Like, I'm not bothered about, like, it's just, I've got my edge. They want to keep people in a survival mode all the time, rushing around. So you don't have time to really, step back and actually just sit to yourself and think, or what could I do to calculate, or what things do I want to bring to make this experience what I want, or whatever. That's just a lot of what the state is rushing. A lot of it is, I think, and it still continues. But like I say, when we put out our piece anyway, that's good enough for us. As just a reminder, at least, to say that, look, bring that side of the spectrum, or whatever spectrum you want to bring, but make it something. Make it something, and bring more enjoyable variables to the environment, and filled with things to do and things to learn and the whole lot of it. And that really stems back to all the things that people like doing as a culture and what they grew up as. Like I said, all kinds of different things. Like I said, and the pins that we've got raising, but just as well as lots of other interests and lots of other things as well. That's all it takes. If not, then you just be sat there on the same expectations. As you see, we have to sit here and put up with the same thing. As you can see, we try and work around it, blah blah blah, and all this. Nothing else. You either take a stand to make your the whole environment what you want it, so that you have more options, yeah, and you like to bring your passion to it, or just like I said, we just, as you see, we just have to try put up with what we try put up with, as we do anyway. But we hope we just give as I say again, not that we've not said before, a little bit of a push to say, like, if we're still persistent, despite the treatment we've been getting, then I'm sure lots more people can say, let's say something as well, and it could be any interest you likes, any passions you likes. Yeah, let's just keep it there. If you want to go into all these other territories, like the convenience on social media now, I feel there's enough of that already. If that's what you enjoy, that's okay. But I personally would like to experience a lot more versatileness, and I'd like to be a voice on what I like to impart in the things that I'm doing, just in the passions that I like doing, and that's about it. As well as everybody else, it's up to you, innit? Like, it's whatever you like out of it, whatever you do. But what I'm saying is there's just enough of the same things that we're seeing, and it'd just be nice to see a lot more versatileness on the platforms, and a lot more visions, and the vision of something, the vision of your culture, or the vision of your, just go back, being brought to the table instead of just being ignored, and people are just rushing into this new generation, no, it's all right. Just put up with the new generational viewpoint of things, and it's like, well, there's not, well, it's that's what's they're for to force on us. It's like they're forcing that on you, but they're just ignoring all the stuff that had a lot of meaning, and it's like I said about the games. They take a series and then they just make it something else. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not the same, and you don't get the same quality, and you don't get the same things like that. So that's the whole idea. So anyway, we're gonna wiggle on because these points have not just been raised and pinpointed enough as it is. We've said this, and I'm glad I've made a statement to YouTube, regardless whether it's coming from us or from anybody else. I think at the end of the day, like I say, if you have something that you're passionate about and you like, and you know your shit and whatever, you should be allowed to bring that to your platforms. and allow people to do it. There's no problem, and I'm glad that we've made a statement on that, so we could just remind the social media space. You know, because as I said, with the way that it's going at the moment, there's just not a lot of concern around these nitty gritty matters. So I'm glad if it has to come from us that we've had to raise it, then that's fine. Because I'd sure as hell like to impart my difference, and I'd like to impart my joy with the community, instead of just being just feeling that I just have to be a postage stamp on their system without anything to do. Hiya, Julie. I'm just calling from Teuton Field Close. This is Faris, and I've just worked to pay like a £10. I've got charged £10.
Yeah, just give it to the lads and that'll be fine.
I'd like to pay over the card. I don't have it in cash, so.
Hang on, bear with me a second. We haven't got the card machine here, have we? Can you phone up later on tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't mind. Or if there's another way of sending it to you, I don't mind. Like, you know how when you send things to like like from NatWest to another bank or whatever transfer, do you know that stuff? Things like that.
Yeah, no. If you phone up tomorrow, we can do it over the phone.
That's fine if you want to do it that way. That's obviously that way anyway. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Ciao for now, then. I am here most days, should you need aid.
And I'm a big fan of the whole chakras thing going on here. You got the blue. That's cool. Ocean vibes. Huh? I'll just go straight for the things. Yeah, I'll do. Don't have the thing good. Go for it. If we get that, we just run. We get run. It's interesting when you play the new ones and you see the like how they've with the scaling they've of course they've improved it a lot. So like when you go back and then just remembering the types of ways like people got around this, and like kind of interesting. And then when you learn it as well, and then you get used to that, and then you can just do other things around it, which is quite cool. This is a cheeky one, this one. I'll find one that goes to the next one up. They get you on these. Fair play, fair play. If you're parkour and you know your shit, but then again, bloody hell. Like maybe at that height, it's fair enough. Fucking hell. Like I wouldn't even, or just something. Maybe just lay out like the whole thing. Just fill it, bathe it with haystack. So when you fall, it's all right. Something like that. That would be fine. See, at least that would be safer. But even then, holy shit. So this is what they think of that of shit. Then what do you expect? That all stems back to that. How they're treating their things. But you know, it's you know, within all of that there is something that, you know. There is some things to take, like, from the apple and all this other shit that they show in these games. They have like this Adam and Eve shit in here as well, don't they? So you've got a lot of that. You've got Leonardo as well, Da Vinci, and all this stuff. That's good.
You have business here? No? Leave!
Well, to get the codex, fortunately we're going to adapt to your Ribena.
This is my watch before me. And here I must take that. I think I
These are a different kind of Ribena, distraction Ribena. Because when they show their swords, it's a good distraction. Because of how sharp it is when they put it out of the sheath. So now you've got something to look at. And you could just get that. Oh, see, all useful, all useful. It's good. Cortices, cortisin. All got good use, as well as the juice. Use as well as the juice. Crazy. And for people in Italy as well, there you go. You got an extra. I know this is based in Italy. This Assassin's Creed 2. Enjoy your music, mate. That's good. You're giving people like the. If you know your shit, especially. If you know your stuff, especially, you'll be giving people not just the delight of musical tones. To keep the entities happy. Get an apple from Adam and Eve apple.
He must have you cut us off when we...
Faster! Run faster!
Anyway, this Dutch stuff isn't so. I can't tell much. I mean, I guess you'll get the idea, you know, and this high things. You know, it's not much of a things. I think it's all right. I don't know. I don't feel much. To be fair, it's okay, I guess. I don't know. I guess the amount. There's like okay. Yeah. Same with like the Indian or any other kind of things. You know, in terms of the highs and stuff like that. You know, that strains was very interesting. You know, we had like a the different types of strain. Like when you get like a Cali versus compared to all the other shit. That's a big difference, especially if it's leafy and more natural. It makes a massive difference there. But on that world, as I said, we just snipped a little digit of the holograms there. It's just floating around on the screen. As I said, I'll be surprised to see them expand the whole fucking range. Just when they just allow drugs to become more of a scene, and they just give you all type of culture and just smash it on the shelf. So they give you a bit of everything, and just good things. You know, and you see that would be exciting, because you would, like I said again, I made this point the other day, you wouldn't be surprised to see how much shit there is out there, like culturally, and other than what they just want people to look at, and just what there is so much. And of course the things that we pinned as well, like the most obvious ones, like being DMT and ayahuasca, they're like the most, like the prominent, I'd say, like the ancient shaman cultural highs. That would be a most probably, and as well as lots. You'd be surprised. So all the stuff around that could be sorted out. As I said, it would sort out all the issues around this stuff anyway. And sound, at the end of the day, you know what I mean. Anyway. I think, get your stuff fresh. Certainly, that would be something I'd take advantage of. Of course, when you go and buy yourself something from the shop or whatever. Of course I would. Of course. And in regards to your, I know we got our military ideas. We're not really here to we're not saying promote anything like that. We just felt like going over it. You could give people some skills to survive, teach them how to do the survival skills. You could still have all your precautions around it, but you could teach them it's like the Royal Signals. Maybe you could teach them that trade, and they can put up a Wi-Fi anywhere or something, or whatever trade. You could really be doing a lot for your communities. You wouldn't believe it. You Marines or any fucking army or Air Force or whatever, special forces. I don't care. Navy. You could be doing so much to, be more self-sufficient in the way you want to sustain shit, rather than it always being behind some referendum or some other fucking political weird thing. So there you go. That's So we wanted to touch base on that again. But as I said, use that as an example. You can compare that to anything. Whatever people specialize in, whatever field. Like I said, a lot of these things can be improved upon. A lot of these things can be what it can be, and it doesn't have to be so power driven all the time, and behind all this other shit, which is just is the reason why you get all these complications. So it's good to consider. It's good to consider that there's these options can be explored and done, sorted out. You'd be helping your communities for sure. If that's there's something, you know what I mean. But then again, it's not for everybody. So you know what I mean. That's why I say there's different things for everyone you could focus on. But you might have people that are going through. You see what I mean? So it's all that could be sorted. It's not. It's difficult, but you're just adding more options, and you're just stabilizing the situation, so that it's not so fucking fucked and like chaotic and just how should I say, contained in a way where there's just a lot of issues that derive from that because it's contained in a certain way rather than expand the stuff around it to maintain this. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain this, but it's really obvious to see. Is like look what the state keeps people putting up with, and the whole constraints around that, and then the whole stresses that come from that. There you go. That's the answer, and that's just with anything you could think of. So whether it's stresses from work things or whatever the things, you see. So all that could go a long way if people are willing to just have conversations and say, well, how can I do this so this works for how I like to manage, or you see whatever. You see, you'd be kicking all this motherfucking weird shit out here from all the manipulation shit, and you'd be doing your shit sensibly. That's why. That's the whole point. Because people have options. People have things to choose from. That's for what. You're helping more people in things that are constructive, and you're putting something constructive. They're not just going around and fucking fidgeting, whatever, and just all out doing all this fucking crooked behavior out there. So this is just something that's always been ongoing. It's just like, but if things are explored away from the power paradigm, and things are explored more in the communities, and things are explored more in the service of people more, there'll be a lot of benefit. So hence, we use our analogy as an avenue. Like if we're focusing on the things that we care about, it's the same with anything else. That's the whole idea, because a lot of the stuff out there is just complicating the situation, and it's just gonna keep like putting pressure on everything else. So I just thought we'd share a piece on that. Not that we really even wanted to go. It just came to our mind. So maybe when you go to the secret entrance, maybe you can have a chat with the Dons and try and get something sorted. It's not bad, and you could like mediate the situation. If it means you have to spin the school upside down or whatever. That'll be interesting. Like I said, just to see more. It's nice when you just look around and you see, oh look, this is cool. This is a nice little thing that's helping this cause or whatever. This is nice. Anything that's good, anything that's helpful, anything that's actually like, do you know what I mean? That's willing to restore something for your tower, whatever. It's always good. Because it just means you're kicking out all the other pressure that has just been hanging on to that the whole time. It's crazy, you see, what people speak about. People speak about all kinds of stuff. It's unbelievable. But yet again, as I said, I'd really like to see when people shake things up. That's what we hope to give motivation on anyway, because of the things that we tag in. That you can try and shake things up a bit, and it doesn't just have to be a conversations. People could really get into the nitty and gritty and sort the things out, and it would just be a lot more manageable and nice. So let's go up here. But of course, that really depends on what your area is. Whatever your area is. There's just a lot of going with shit rather than actually being prepared to stand and say, well, look, that's not really quite the thing that's actually working for me particularly, and I'd like to have this. This is actually more manageable work for me. You see, but that's not really being explored a lot of time when they just want everyone to just accept a lot of the narrative based things, and you know, and a lot of the perception derives off that because of the acceptance of the thing, rather than using your own initiative on it and coming to with your own conclusions. Like, you know, is this all right for me? Is not. So, you know, it's just really dependent upon you. Like, you know, it's, everyone have a choice. How, as I said initially, how you want to shape the things. There's just a few good analogies. Be nice to see more things being laying off the fucking thing all the time. There's nothing being done, and just things that like are looked into a little bit more. So that perhaps if maybe that can be sorted out, maybe there'll be a more options people could take a pick from, and it would just mitigate all this nonsense. Like, for instance, when I suggested, you know, the way I like to manage my MySpace, as I said, that's just an analogy. Okay? You see? Because I don't need to accommodate other things that are interfering with my particular vibe or with MySpace. You see? And it's the same thing when you it's the same thing with area, but it's just one thing applies for one and another for others. I think there's not as much sincerity with a lot of things as just think, like, you know, so it just becomes all over the place in a way. You know, if people take the time and sincerity to actually look into that things, you'd see a lot of, like I said again, you'd see a lot more diversity, and you'd see a lot more acceptance within community livings and community standard and all kinds of things, whatever. But, you know, as you see, it's just how people are swept by things nowadays. People are just more swept by what the narrative is currently doing, and nothing else is being looked at. You know, or of an attention because of that. So that's all it is. You know, they just have a way to sway your attention. So always focus on what you meant, the curriculum of what you're supposed to be doing, and just you know, negate everything else that, you know, is just like it's interjecting. You see. So, you know, of course, it's all weird. It's all power stuff. But, you know, essentially, like I said, if people put more effort and responsibility into flagging the concerns, like, you know, for instance, we're enjoying doing our stream the way we do it, but like, it's good that we mentioned suggestions, but now we've got now like more of a sense of I'd say, because of the way they're taking a lot of the passion that we're doing, and just things that we tag in anyway. Restore that. People have more to juggle with in that field. People have more to do. See, and there's just a lot more versatileness there. And like, you see, that's an example, as opposed to just aimlessly following a criteria, and just on dead ends, and just thinking that, well, where is it going? And what's the result? What's the achievement? What's the achievement? And it's just so that people are just forced to put up with it and say, oh, I can't. There's nothing I can do, and all this other stuff. There's nothing I can do about it. I just have to accept it. So, you know, I think that's just a lot of the mentality nowadays, and I just think, like, well, if you really start looking into the things that you love doing, or whatever, and you really are passionate about these, whatever it is, you could have a lot more to be doing. You'll have a lot more to be doing. You'll have a lot more. You'll have a lot more things and a lot more ways to make use of the time. It's just that people are just it's not much being explored. So it's like it's all just everyone having to be forced into this survival state, and then all the stuff comes from that. So it's just like you're just not giving more options to help people with like things, and that's I think the dysfunction within. I think a lot of when you see a lot of the things around certain things, because there's just not much being explored there, and that's all it is, and that's why people make excuses to feel like they have to put up with it instead, or that's just the only option. But if more things were being analysed and assessed, like as I say, take away what we're presenting and just use any idea you want, you will see energy being pulled there, and of that, and it's okay. But they're force with the way people are putting up. You're creating this outcome for yourself, because you're putting up with the way they want there's like just everyone to expect to see it. So in the long run, it's gonna stagnate everything that you probably prefer to do, and it's going to just put pressure to see. So it's just basically what we're trying to say. It's all about self accountability, and actually realizing, okay, am I actually going to say something about the situation, or am I just going to accept any narrative and anything just so I can get through the next whatever, you see? Because that makes a big difference, you see. Like, if I look maybe, like, say, 10 years from now or whatever, or to see where they're going in their practice, and I'm glad I'm able to upload what I can do, but wherever they're taking it particularly, is swaying off the things that people like doing, and all kinds of different, like, you could just think of any kind of, like, as I said, any kind of interest. Doesn't just have to be the gaming. And they're taking it away, literally away from that completely. It's like, well, this fair enough, but they've just now directed a certain agenda for people to follow, and it's like you're avoiding all the other areas where people get to have fun in this area. They can't do it because now it's just be constrained to that. And it's just like it defeats the whole aspect of, well, what's fun. Like what is there to do? What's it about? What have we learned? What's the learning? You see, because they just want people bothered about someone doing just climbing the highest fucking thing for reviews, or the way these things work. You see what I mean? But like, you have so many things. Like I said again, you have so many things that you could keep busy with, that you could bring as an awareness to allow others to participate and do. It's unbelievable, and so many ways to make a difference, to give people a bit more options, so it stabilizes the situation. Then you do ignoring it and just push it because of where the narrative and the way they were pushing everything, because of all this intergalactic whatever stuff going on, whatever, all this other crap. It's swaying off. It's swaying off that sort of areas. Like it's not giving a lot of more support there, and people are just feeling left out, and the whole lot of it, and then problems start to derive off that, and so on and so on and so on. So you're ultimately just fucking the shit over in the long run, because you're not exploring the ways to make that what it can be, or should you say? See what I mean? So that's the whole idea, compared to the way we stream and how we present, compared to where they expect what they expect everybody to sit on, and have to always just have to put up with, and just to gain maybe a certain attention, so you could get your whatever the demand wants of you, or of that sort. You see. So I know we've made a lot of iterations on that again. But that's really the basis of it. If it's up to you how interesting you want to make these spaces, and how versatile you want to make these spaces, and people just don't need to feel the need to feel imposed on. People could just do their things. People could just do their expressions, and there's an option for them to do that because you've allowed them to do it. You've given them the option to do it. You know, there was an exploration there. But if that's not explored, then it's going to be like people are just going to think, well, someone's doing this, and it's going away from how this shit is going. So everyone's just going to look at it like a mystery. It's just a perception. That's all it is. All of this stuff that they expect everyone to like to do a lot of the time is just a perception game. Yeah. It's up to you how you want to create that for yourself. No one should tell you, you know. But if you're so caught up in whatever, you know, the expectation of how they want you to see it, and all this other stuff, other people's opinion, this, that, the other, constantly, that's you'll just be stuck in that perception. You just think to yourself, well, look, there's nothing I can do. It's just what I'm going to put up with. But it's up to you to change the narrative of how you want to engage, and what you really want to bring as far as things to do and keep busy with, because that's what makes a big difference. If there's not much discipline, if you're not helping your community, is the community just gonna chaos because everyone's just now in need and striving off another thing and just constantly desperate. Because you've negated training them, you've negated giving them service. You just wanted to keep your services for all this cyclical thing that's going on in the world today, with all this all this conspiracies and things going on. You know, the wars and all have you, and all this stuff. You know, so now it's just taking an impact on the communities and the whole lot of it, because you've negated giving them a basis. So now that the whole town's gone mad. Because you didn't give him anything to fall back on. You didn't give him something constructive to do. You didn't give him anything like whatever to learn. So that's the whole idea of what we're saying. Like what's the point if we're not gonna keep a vision for something that first you should understand and know what it was about, for one. Not just claim that you know what it's about and just because that makes a big difference, and the whole lot of it. You see, instead of just expecting everybody to put up with less, and then you're not giving the full capacity of what it can be. Yeah. So like, you know, it's just you basically. In the long run, you're just falling back, like it's just a reflection back on the feelings of how things will be, because people are becoming more stressed, and you're stressing more people out, because it's just like they're just being used as some fucking chamber, like they're not being given an option to say, well, you know, what kind of what works for you, what do you like. Things like that, and given options. So now your whole communities are going mad and they're rushing around, and just everyone's stressed out. Bang. It's just constant. Like, you see what I mean? So like, the fact that we have to go over it, we shouldn't have to go over this or make similar iterations. We don't work in these fields. We don't work in these political, or how you say, these behind these things. You see, but if you stay ignoring your communities. And you don't give a shit, and you don't actually give them what they should already be knowing, and never mind the concerns we've raised, but just in general, then it's you in the long run. I'm not surprised why these games, what they're showing you in the games, are not so for real. You see, for instance. They gave us all these, for instance, I'll give you an analogy. They gave us a lot of these old school games, and all this era back then, even though it's corporate, but they gave us all these games as a sort of heads up about the way shit is leading up to if things are not solid, because of the constant history of what generational curse that we're doing upon our society, because we're just not concerned. We just want to, you want to play with fires and demons and all this other stuff. what we're saying is you're being swayed by other agenda-driven narratives. So in the long run, the community now have to take a toll for that. You see, instead of actually paying attention to your community and making some sort of balance. See, this is the whole point. You know, that's what I liked about these a lot of these that culture is like they kept something going that you actually took something from. Now they, like I say, they're just keeping you just so forced to just put up with shit, and just feel like you don't have an option and you must do this practice that way. That's wrong, because now you're just ignoring your community, you're just ignoring points of preferences, you're ignoring it, and that's where all the disputes happen. You see, because of that, and it goes beyond and it goes beyond, but that's where all of it happens, because you're ignoring the consensus of the things. So never mind how fucked up made the community become. People are now deranged, don't even know what's going on. A lot of people, like they're just mentally, like they're just gone. And then people need God knows what kind of help. But you know, for people in that field. But equally, when you're going out and doing, like, you're just going against that, and you're not really helping. You're just using that operation for another. It's not. You're not. It's. You know, it's not going to. It's not. You're not really treating the root, really. You know, you're just getting them out of the way, and it's not. You know, it's not nice. You know, to okay, you want the Kari community to see that people are being treated, are mistreated, and they're not getting the proper support, or whatever. It's just not nice. It's not nice to see that. You see, when a lot of people could be focusing on their field to really be making a difference for any parts of the communities or whatever. You see, that's just an example. So. Yeah, again, like I said, it made a difference to us. It's the community that have got to like deal with the rest of where the shit is shaped. And as far as we're concerned, we're just keeping a few things tagged to keep people reminded. Okay, well, let's use more of a pinpoint on things that people can keep busy with constructively. Look at all the other things and all the other areas that could be just as explored, and people could make a big dividends and a big difference in. So you know, it's like I said, while we sit there and you know, focus on this, as I said, people could really do a lot for the communities, and you as I said, this stuff going on everywhere is just unnecessary, because like it's just really putting a lot of pressure, I think, on people in general, workers, all kinds of things, all kinds of situations, you know, things like that. So, you know, you'd make a big difference. You know, I think you'd make a big difference, because like now people are just moving on, they're just bored, they're just whatever, just make excuse. You know, you're leaving your communities aimless. You're leaving your communities with not much to do. You're leaving your communities with just put up with this way of doing it, and it's just all money, and it's all just corporate. It's all just spending and this and that and the other. Just consumption. I can't get enough of it. You're losing the value of what was valuable about the thing that I'm doing. So the appreciation isn't there anymore. So people just end up clashing on each other on Black Friday, or is it because of something that they really want? But is it really like whatever? Like all this, people could do so much to like do things resourcefully, and you could be providing a lot there, and you could be like limited on that amount of resources. Believe me, and you'd have a lot. It's all right. It wouldn't just be such a what's the word, necessity. Like, oh wow, you got it, but if you're gonna keep fucking up your soils and your shit the way you're using your grid anyway, you're just wasting a lot of the resources. Never mind if you want to use some aspects to it, but like it's just waste. So there is a lot of ways to generate like things, like so that it doesn't put a lot of impact on the grid, for instance, and it just puts a lot more in the like thingy. So you might use a little bit to create some consoles, but then you might use a little bit. It's just I don't know. However you'll be doing in this world, but you see, this is just it's just a narrative-driven based thing. It's just people are not willing to explore the grey areas that would actually help and give more back. Rather, it's just everyone's just being robbed and being like is ripped off and what's the value anymore? What's the exchange? What's the fun anymore? So it's just all pirateering and it's all fucking bullshit. And to be perfectly honest, I'm at a point like at the end of the day where it's like it's nice that we've got our tag goings, yeah, but so should it be nice to see people playing a lot of their part too, like in the sense that like you'd be restoring other kinds of things in that field, and you'd just be creating an impact within that community. Yeah. I like to see the day to come when I see all these games being put back on the shelves again, as an example, because I learned a lot when I play these games, and I take something from it that I can apply, because that's what a lot of this era was then, and you had a lot of these kind of diversity then. Okay, that's for example. The same with the other pins that we got. Like I said, we just give you an example again. That's the big difference between the way they expect it, what they expect everybody to sit on, compared to like what can we do about the nitty gritty stuff. Will actually make a big difference with the way you can actually share and the way you can actually like express yourself, because that goes a long way. If I've got shit to do, if I can't express this myself, if I can't share the passions that I like with my fans, if I can't keep a vision going that I learned, I took something from, it becomes pointless. It becomes no point to streaming anymore. Like personally, with the way they want to push a lot of it. Never mind, you have some more things. I'm glad we made the statement on YouTube earlier. Simple as that. I'm just gonna live my experience the way I like to make the best of it, because it's really not down to anyone there. If you try to keep something going that you're passionate about, and there's a lot there, and like people are just ignoring that, so you can support putting up with survivals and treachery and what is there, like you see. So it's like it's like a choice that you make. Do I want to bring more constructive, nice things to my communities that will actually help my communities? Like for instance, the games again, all the games then, and all the things that you had then. You took something out of it. There was so many types of games, and you got the full package, compared to what is going on now. Yeah, that's there's a big difference there. You see, there's a big difference there. And if you go back and study your history of gaming, you'll see a lot there. And people talk up about a lot of stuff as well. So, I'd like to see things shaken up a little bit, for real, and enough with the treachery of like ignoring what people care about that could give you something to do, because more people are making excuses to put up with shit and pretend, rather than actually get involved in things that they know they care about as well, a lot of them. And then you've got a lot of the new generation which is just are likely to just going on along with everything anyway. They don't know better. So at the end of the day, that's fair. At the end of the day, like you see, it's all about what you create your experience. If not, then just enjoy what you got, and that's what we have to do also. That's just as simple as that. That's just really, really, because we try to keep the thing going, but if no one can be fucking arsed and everyone just wants to point fingers and there's just weird crap and just all this other shit, then it's just like, well, fair. Like that's just in the long run going to take a toll on the way we can interact with these servers, and the way what we can do. So like it's not really on us to us at the end of the day. Did you see what I'm saying? Make a difference to us. But if we like to keep a vision going that is meaningful to a lot of people's hearts here, then that's good enough for us, and it could make a big difference in the things that we raise as well. So like whatever, mate. I'd like to see a time when people are actually gonna restore a bit more diversity and things for people get have things to do, all kinds of things. You'd be sorting out your shit properly, all that stuff. You want to stick your generations, keep them mindless, and just homelessly hammering around, and then you're negating all the things that would have helped the situation. You just, as you say, it's just whatever. Like, what more could anyone tell it or say? Like, we will sit here and now and say, well, that's that. We really don't need to sit there and say anymore now. That's good enough for us. If that's the way they want to do the things, and then at the end of the day, it's simply we're making the most out of our experience, and we're not to intervene or interject anymore in things that shouldn't really just be our play. You see, we'll just say all the best to the rogues. You see what I mean? That's fair enough, isn't it?
Which way you went? Eccolo! There!
So it's just all about that, man. Like you just, what do you want to see more of things? Like how do you want to keep yourselves? It's just like whatever. Are we accepting of people's things, or we just it's just like constantly forcing everything on things, and it's not really giving you the full thing of what you want to do. So that's where it defeats the enjoyment for me, is when I see that there's all these things going on, and it's just taken away from the element of like what I like to take, what I took from the experience, what I learned from the experience, how I like to express myself in the experience.
There he is.
So yeah.
On him. Where the hell did you see which
Anyway.
way he went?
So long, we just make these points as just a good, reminders, and then I say like, I'm just saying so long for the generations to come.
So, how would you like to go? Rogue?
I cannot see. Where is he? Not you. He's there, on him.
Hey, let go of me.
Yeah, so ultimately, like I said, I don't see why we're the only ones, surely. And it's just really the minority of, I'd say, a lot, making certain points about shaking the things up and actually like wanting to help things, so that you're getting more options, and you keeping the vision going for what people took something from, instead of just ignoring it and thinking nothing of it. So it's like, that's the difference. It's good to see that people are doing that, and people are reminding people of like all kinds of different causes and things like that. Because, as I said again, it's your realms that have to take the toll, and the whole lot of it, and what the enjoyment is anymore, what the whole point is anymore. What's the means? At the end of the day, it's not to anyone else. Think whether it's above. You know, we come in and present just so that we could say, look, well, if we could say something about this, why can't more people? Why are people just so driven and forced to just put up with it and not feel like they can express their concerns? So there's a lot of issues that are obvious there, like it's understandable, but it's like that's just what I'm seeing. A lot of people are not able to express their unique perspective, rather than they're just putting up with it and then just, you know, whatever else. Or if they'd like to present a piece of something that might be you know, amazing, like it's going back to the roots of shit and whatever, and then they couldn't get the voice to do that because of this greedy, selfish, egocentric fucking corporate fucking whatever is getting in the way. Systems. They're not able to represent that area that they'd like to be given and part on. See? So, you know, that's. Are you so surprised, yeah? That we're not even sat here today and having to still just not even give suggestions. Now we've had to pin as if why? How many like, for instance, how many hardcore gamers are there that know their shit? I'd like to see you stand up on it as well. Yeah, that's just giving you an example. I'm just giving you an example. It doesn't just have to be. I'm just saying, like, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If people really understand their games and not just fall for anything nowadays. Anyway, whatever. We're not a talking dialogue, even though we do in these games. But we you know, we just say if you're not honestly, if you're not supporting anything that, not just any cause, anything useful, it's like, well, there's a time for that. You could enjoy that then, because I'm afraid you're clicking on again into an area where we'd like to shake some things up, and, you know, have a bit more like sincerity on the things that we're displaying. So, you know, cheers again. Not even just in the learning the fact that we're just playing the game, but just in the sense that, like, you know, I'd certainly love to just keep supporting things that mean a lot more than where they're really pushing the stuff and really thinking that they're ever going to give us a penny. They could have already given us a penny if they were that sincere. So, you know, we're not tricked by that this rigged on the internet. We just as you see, we enjoy to follow our passions, and we enjoy to inspire others to do the same, and to say, well, look, you should keep something constructive going, because that will give more people options and things to gamble with, rather than just keeping your communities aimless and nothing to do, and then wonder why everyone's so desperate and not concerning themselves, and they think they know something but they don't, because nothing's been talked about. There's been no proper grounding conversations. So we're not going to sit here and waste time on like, as I say again, fuckabouts, because that's not why we're streaming. Unfortunately, as like ridiculous as it sounds, you know. Or how should you say, you know. But, that's just how the internet media is treated overall anyway. So it doesn't matter, you know, that's just the thing that's like we have to sort of put up as well. Not like we can avoid it completely. But, you know, it's just like I say, it's a point of preference, and like, especially for your preference to how you like to manage your shit. Like that goes a long way as well. Like that's why we spoke on that. because you'd be trying to get on with a certain thing you're showing or whatever piece you're showing, and you've got all this other things going on. You know, but what do you expect? Like,
I know that. I'm sure. Not you!
no one should be imposed on, and people should have their own space for that communities that want to share a vision in that and want to do something there. You see, but when everyone's just left to be aimless on this motherfucking shit, striving for the expectations, striving for the demands, everyone's just gonna whack on other people's shit and intrusive and all this other shit, because it's just like they feel like they need some validation or something, or they just had enough or whatever. It's just unwavered matters start to just swarm through in things that is like, well, what's that got to do with what we're doing? It's just, it doesn't go hand. See, so it's just a lot of interruptions, and there's just a lot of interventions and things that just like it doesn't make sense. We're keeping something going here that we enjoy, while we have to juggle that percentage of the community that have mental issues. Well, it may very well help you if you like watching us in the games, but you know, just in the sense that like concerns that don't mingle with what we see. That's a lot of the intervention on this shit. You see, and all the chaos. Hence why we imported our say on your bigger, for instance, as a way of saying that they should manage and have people should have their own rooms the way they want, the way they prefer, and no one should be intruding upon those rooms if they've came and mistreated the room and didn't show any sort of impressions. That's with it. That's everyone's right to have that. I think we've made an impact there anyway. I think anyway, as far as the internet spectrum goes, just in general, because that goes a long way in any interactions. I think that there's no point in talking about any cause, anything to people if people are just moral people anyway. I've just been showing nothing but just disrespect to your room, and I could say, from the experience I've had on the Big O's experience, or just social media in general, I've not had any true genuine responses from anything that that we're seeing, or anything of that sort. So I'm glad that we've made a statement about that. Anyway, because as far as we're concerned, like at the end of the day, we're enjoying our experience the way we're doing it, and we don't need to accommodate everything else that is coming to counter or interrupt that space. And I think the more people start standing firm on them decisions, you will see it at different spaces as well. If you want to talk about spaces, never mind whatever cause at this point, because why would you be talking to causes to somebody else that's thinking about riding a bike into a dustbin? Okay. So just it's not even a conversation. It's just utter disrespect and utter disgust, if you ask me, within the community spaces. Before anything, I think. So there's that going on as well as everything else. But anyway, as far as that goes, that's that, pretty much. You know, sort out some proper causes. That is nice. That's a nice thing to look at. I think something that will benefit the communities. Something that people get an option. Give people, people can express themselves. Yeah. Sort out better spaces on in your platform. Just anything that's good and useful, and anything that's fine. But anything that's just gonna degenerate people's fucking, or however you say, like just disempower people and just keep people like putting up with shit, and anything that's like just negative and just whatever. There's just too much of that. There's too much of that. There's nothing done. There's nothing done at all. Like, you see, so it's like, you know. You know, so you know, enjoy it. You know, at the end of the day. Enjoy your like we just say to people at the end of the day. Enjoy where you'll like to see the platforms head. And you know, we're just gonna say that you know it's good enough on our end. We just say thank you very much. We'll say thank you very much. You know, be on your way. It's all right. You know, there's nothing else to talk about. I just if there's a lot more nice causes going on everywhere, a lot more nice things going on everywhere, I'll be like props, mate. That's good because I could take advantage. I'll be willing to like say, oh, that's actually sad. Something that's actually going to help the community, something that's actually going to give more back, so people get the option to do it. But if it's just anything to disempower people and just to keep people feel narrow and question themselves all the time, this other shit, there's nothing else. It's just like if people like meddling with that and just want to keep that going on the spectrum, well, you know, it's just that's fine. Then just put up with that. And like, you know, we enjoy the space for what we could create, and that's that. We're not going to sit here and accommodate every other meddling shit thing in our space that we don't need to. Like, you know, people have more. Like we're just saying, people have more of a right and a saying to that. People shouldn't feel that they should be imposed by anything that they're not vibing with. That's for one, or anything they're not encouraging. They're not a supporter. They're not supporting anything you're doing, or anything of that sort. They're not. You see, so this is one of many battles that you're dealing with in your social media space before you even think to talk about any cause that could be handy or could be useful at this point. Okay, I think this is one of many battles. So you don't need to come to us for any expectations. And we're just going to say that on the general basis community, when you've got that going on the platforms, you don't need to come to us for any expectations or any like, oh, what's so interesting and where we're getting with our crap here, when you've got that shit going on your platforms. Because as far as we're concerned, our focus is as you can see, we'd like to bring something that we care about, that people might like, yeah. All this other crap is just getting in the way. And that's why you'd think that the rate of what we're saying is like not as quick as, because people are not willing to have proper grounded conversations about things that might be useful and might be helpful. Rather, your shit's just being used as a fucking whatever, mate. How should I say? A malicious service. Like we're just you know, unintentional things going on, and just you know, crooked practices and crooked agendas going on. Okay, that's just all I'm gonna really like put a pin on, because, you know, it's not even a shame that I like to make the most out of that experience when I come on the live services. And I've got to see that the community is still putting up with this kind of crap, and I've still got to put up and it still have to swing across in our crap. Not that we deal with it, but it's still concurring. When I know for damn sure there would have been so much to fucking do by now, and so many good things going on, had people had just you know, it wouldn't be that messy, and there'd just be more of a direction of focus. And people just wouldn't be just sabotaging everybody else's fucking shit, and people could just have the spaces. You know, as far as we're concerned, mate, we're just being general, because we've had no sincerity in our space. You know, as of when we started. You know, and we have the right to be general because this is an agenda going on, and everyone's just working in groups on these social media platforms. This is just an agenda going on forever. But at least you would have mitigated the outcome if you'd given more people, we just say a lot more people, space and the grounds to have their own room the way they want, so they don't just have to accommodate every fucking you know, unwavered fucking behaviour. Simple as that. That would just be that's just fine. Or we're gonna leave it on, because I could just be general and say, according to us, we don't need any person in our space. That is just, you know, we could just go general, because we've not had any feedback on anything we've done, or any sincere thingy. So I think there's a lot to start with there, before you decide to think, oh look, what's the convenience, and why you're even watching, and why you're even liking your space. And what are you even passionate about the things that is going on in that space before you even clicked on the space? So that's just a prison in itself. And that's why we say that, like, I think that would be it's not just a good option for us, good option for a lot of streamers out there that might like to have their own space and they don't like to be imposed by anyone. They're just trying to get on with their works and they're trying to get on with their things. You see, and it's pretty fair, to be honest. So I think like I said, that could be looked at ASAP before anything. It's all good that we've got these things flagging on yet, but there's no point yet coming in again expecting anything else. If we have people that are just not taking what we're doing, it's just chaos. It's just people are just coming in with for different reasons and all this other shit. Okay, so like they'll just have you on that for another 100 years if nothing is done. I think about people's space personally. So it's just like to make a difference to us, mate. We don't care. It's not like we can't stream despite what's going on, but it's just the fact that it's really messy, and it just feels like what's going through at this point, because we're sat there, putting certain things. We've given suggestions throughout the year. We've said things that we have to come and pinpoint out, but it shouldn't really be about us, But we're just saying like we've given our input, we've given our suggestions, and we've not really seen. So that I think that as I said. It shouldn't take that long for that to be sorted out anyway. That people should already have their own vibes and their own space, or just be able to manage at least. Even if people, it seems like the whole world's against them. They could just at least have the option to manage their own things. That would go a long way on the social media space, not just for us, for a lot of others as well. Okay, and I just wanted to put a bit on that because I'm not in a mood anymore, to be perfectly honest. I like to bring something nice when I come to stream. I like to have things to do. Okay, I won't waste my fucking time on things that is just like what's the result here? What's the convenience of coming out and streaming on a service if there's fuck all, and I'm just being constrained within the things that I'm able to do, and then you've got all this other interventions happening. See, it just makes me feel smarter, honestly, and it just makes me feel like is there a lot that I could do? Is there a lot I could have fun with? Is there something I'm taking from it? Are the community taking something from it? So that's just that, just as we say, wherever they're pushing this agenda anyway, not to anyone. People can only impart their difference or their visions, and that's it. We don't really care at the same time, personally. Like we're not bothered either. Like just like as people may think. We're just hoping that good things could be restored, and you just see a lot of nice things that would help a lot, so that people are just given more options there, so that I'm able to take advantage. I'm able to do it. I'm able to have the option to do it. Like when we got on about them adding more to the platform. That if that was the case, but we've been sharing a lot within this entertainment realms. We've been sharing more films if they'd have worked around their copyright and all this other crap. Yeah, that I've been banging on about that for a year, 2 years. For example. But that's just with any interest, But if if the people just want to meddle around on the same expectation of the shit, yeah, then there's not much I just because look what we're focusing on. Look what we like to give people. I'd say to people, look, and look what the whole internet is still running around doing. So it's like it's like I said, it's no loss to us, mate. This is a toll on your things, and how it affects the longevity of where they push the shit and how that will affect everybody. See, but what else? I don't know what people like. It's like you always got to prove something. It can't be more obvious with what we're pinning now. Not just about what we're pinning at all. Just about how all the works are going. How they're taking their communities on board. How they care about their community. All of that. It all coincides. They care about their community to even be able to share the thing to begin with. Or whatever. Yeah, good. We got them points out of the way for sure. I'd make very well clear points actually, because at one point in time, maybe there'll be a point where I said, "Oh, look, I mentioned that. It's all right." But like, for what reason? Like, is it's just unbelievable, mate. It's unbelievable. People speak up about everything, everywhere. But what's really done in it? What's really done? So we could say we fall into that bracket. We're no different. It's all talk, but at least it's some good ideas. Or however you should say. You think, like I said, you think this makes a difference to us? We care to mention this shit. We're just saying at the end of the day, it's not like people don't prefer what they prefer, and that's not being taken into account. And never mind any other thing at this point. Because what's the point if you don't have people that are actually passionate about what you're doing, and it's just you getting all this shit. What's the point? That's how we break it down personally. You know what I mean? Even though we stream for watchers, but or how should you say, for people to watch. But as I said, if you don't, if your shit's messy predominantly, how does that impact the social media space? It goes a long way, I think. It's just to protect your communities and to keep your communities. People could just have a bit more management over what they like. Nothing else. They like us and us to us. It's not like we've not been receiving the same shit since we've started. It's not deterring us from what we're doing. Just because people may think that they want, you see, because at the end of the day we're doing our thing. We're doing our own thing. We're not then saying, well, people should do what we're doing. So we don't care about all this fucking shit that we're getting. Like we've instead imparted on some suggestions instead that might help, perhaps. But people should just really take it from us. This shit is all the game in itself. Trying to find ways to climb on this. I don't know. It's kind of weird, isn't it? It feels like we're the only ones. Like, why are we the only ones suggesting things that are just a bit weird at the moment? It's just mad. Compared to the vast social media space that you have and the amount of people on it. So that's why I say it's just not even a conversation. It's just like, whatever, wherever they go, wherever they go. Personally, I'm just enjoying the process just as much because what the hell? I'm juggling a thing that I'm doing here, whilst I'm having to put up with a lot of their works as well. As much as sharing ideas about like getting some things done, so there's much more to do. But then what would be the point in that? Like, even though we say putting that out there, when you've just got all this other shit that's just like it's just taking a toll on what you think. It doesn't work. It's just, as I said, it's just narrowing down the amount of capacity you have to be able to work, and the space that you like to work, because of all this other interruption when you're just trying to show your project, or you're trying to show your thing. Just unnecessary, I think. It's not like it's not happening, but I'm just saying, for the whole social media space where they're pushing it, especially because the way they want to contain it, it's just really unnecessary. Well, for one, it's dark as crap in this area, so I need to try and find which ledge I can grab on this. There's another options, but they force you to do this option. Twats. I go up there, and what next? Some hidden ledge that I didn't see. They get you with this stuff. It's very fun. Just so you get this. That's the whole things with those. They all of these things, like yeah. That's what they do it about. It's all about rushing for the gold, and that's it. Because it's like an act of desperation. They just they want people on. But it's all right if you've got your own treasure. That's okay. You can keep that safe, I suppose. But just with the whole agenda shit, it's just they just want everyone to just just focus on just rushing for the thing, and forget about like all the things that could be good, like you're having money to exchange for. Look at how much you could have got in just maybe spending. Say you would spend 300 or 400, and you got a lot of quality stuff. Of just having just all this, they want you to just rush with the big stacks, like what you're gonna spend. I'd rather, if I have just this amount, I could spend it on a lot of good stuff. But the way they want to raise the prices with everything, that just puts more pressure. So now the survival stake has just gone even more. Yeah, this is the whole thing. It's just people. That's the prison in itself. Yeah. People are gonna put up with that crap instead of focusing on ways to sustain now. And create the values and stuff like that now. So you've got a lot more to do and a lot more things to take, rather than them keeping it as a demand. So it's just what people put up with, mate, and just what everybody's been putting up with, and that's why it's just been a long-term thing that people have just gradually just said, well, that's just what it is. But when you start to go your own way sometime and just say, well, I don't it's just to maybe be more firm. I'm not a big fan of where they're pushing it, because they're ruining that. Then you will start to say something. it's not the same anymore, or something like that, or whatever, or it could be better, or whatever the case. You know, it's just a choice, innit? It's just a choice. You know, you don't have to, but it's just a choice you make. Do I want to support shit, or do I want to like say to people like I'd like better, I'd like to have a better experience. You know, I'd like to take something from my experiences. I'd like to do, you know, all that stuff.
Salute, Ezio. Antonio Maffei has sought refuge atop the city's tallest structure, spouting scripture and arrows in equal measure. The man has clearly lost his mind. Making matters worse, he's posted archers all around him. You do well to clear them out before approaching.
Grazie for the information.
I don't know, you know, at the end of the fucking day, you know, I'm not here to put, like I said, we don't pry, we just don't care about any of that. We're just saying, like, you know, take the time to understand the shit that you consume and buy. Never learn fucking where they're pushing what they want everyone to be forced to put up with. And then you'll see more area gone into that, and you'll be having more of a better, I think, more of a quality time. Because there'd be no point if they're gonna push this shit a certain way, and them just ignoring everything to be done. Because it'd just be, what is there to do then? Why would I even want to come up at this point? I'll just enjoy my own space, and that's fine. I don't need to intervene in something that I'm not feeling very well received in, or ignored, or whatever the case. Or as though people don't have near the similar concerns. Simple as that. And that's good enough. You just enjoy it. Precisely. A lot of it's that, like, you know, because they're telling you in the game. See, these games, these ones were actually what it was. Like with the gameplay elements, and never mind them capitalizing on it, but when they just change it completely, like the whole system, it just kills it. If you like this series anyway.
For all his ways are justice, a God of truth and without injustice. Righteous and upright is he. They have corrupted themselves. They are not his children because of their blemish. A perverse and crooked generation. Do you thus deal with the Lord, O foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father?
That's funny. Just falling into another helix glitch.
Have some respect for death, my friend.
I'll show you respect.
No, I will. Che tu possa al fine trovare riposo, nel corpo e nella mente. Requiescat in pace.
Not again. When will the killing stop?
Release me! Oh,
This is what these apps are. All these things is. Prove this, prove that. Fuck all that. You know, if something would have done, it would have been done. Any passion, anything like that, anything. That's just it. That's just that. You know, it's got to be more. Like, people are not going to be as sincere to you than that. To be honest, I couldn't find any more sincere. To be fair, you just stay with mine. Mad.
Am I dreaming this?
Yeah, it's kind of a shame, really. You know, we've been using your bigger or just any of this is, and to see how, you know, how should I say? I don't know. There's just nothing to shake things up or anything sincere. Like, you know, like if you really care about what you want to do on these platforms, and the whole lot of it, and what the quality is about, and all this other stuff, it's really a shame. You know, but at the same time, it doesn't matter anymore, because we're at a point where, you know, just enjoy the experience. I think, you know, it'll all speak for itself. People are willing to put out this, make a difference in this area or that or whatever. See, instead of just ignoring things and wasting time, and just you know, just playing on each other on these apps and all this other crap, and just constant. I say, not down to anyone anymore, mate. We're just like, you know, we're just like, you know, as much as we've given, it's like we're not getting. There's nothing to provide anymore now. And that's pretty fair, and we just say that to anybody that's been providing and been giving all this energy, all this time. You may feel similar. You don't need to be obliged to give any more of your time, to be obliged to give any more of your energy. Just walk away, and let people, you know, just let things figure it out for itself. That's, I think, the best advice you can give anybody, I think. Yeah, I think that's just one of many things, especially when you're, you know, doing what you're worth or whatever you're sincere about doing, and you're not getting, you know, just the least or whatever. So it's like, you know, it's the best thing to do would be to just walk away, do your own things, concern yourself about what you don't have control, because at the end of the day, like, you know, it's like I say, it's up to you. You're the mechanism for what you want to see, and you know, even if it seems like no one is listening, you're the mechanism of what you like to see, because you're putting that time and energy in that. So it doesn't matter what the response is.
You should lock me up here.
What matters is, like, you know, what's right, what's enjoyable for your situation, what you like to enjoy, how you'd like to make that vibe for yourself. So, because that's what matters. You know, this is where all the mishap comes on the social internet. People are just so concerned about what others think, and people are just so concerned about, like, all this other crap, all this either this, that, the other, because you know, just giving up mentality. We're not, you know, there's really nothing being spoken about in the realms of anything worth seeing anymore. So it's you know, it's just a point of, okay, we've made our peace, we said what we needed to say, and now it's just enjoy your arenas and whatnot, and the whole lot of it. You know, we don't really need to you know, as I say, don't need to waste our energy or such anymore, if that's the best way to put it. And there's nothing to it really. It's just, you know, there's just a lot of like, just like I say, a lot of intrusion going on these apps, and weird shit, and like just a lot of, like, confusion and everywhere. And it's just whatever, it's taken away from the fun that you'd like to come out and come and put your energy in and come and spend your time and try and share with people. And just that, even though, like, there's something of interest or anything like that. So, you know, I think we just should give advice for anybody that happens to go through that as well. You'd be happy to giving your time and energy, and you're just getting nothing but not even the least, just nothing, and you're just getting ignored, and the whole lot of it. You just keep doing what you're vibing with, like we're doing, because you're passionate about it. Don't be concerned about all this other. It's not worth it. Because if it was really sincere, people would be having proper conversations about things that they like in communities, things that actually like what they liked. It would have happened. So, like, at the end of the day, you know, if you enjoy what you're doing, that's really all that matters. It doesn't really matter how it's received, and certainly what's going on around, because you're bringing that experience. Doesn't matter. So that's something to bear in mind, really. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, you know, if you enjoy to do it, if you're so passionate about something, you keep that vision going. And you like doing a certain activity or whatever, like, you shouldn't really stop for any sort of misuse, or feel like you need to feel the need to explain. Because it's just you're just around a place where you know, it's just at the end of the day, it's within the responsibility of the app to sort it out, and not you. You can only just impart your suggestions. That's it. So we just wanted to share that piece for anyone that might be going through not similar to how the reception we've been receiving. Or not at all. For the longest anyway. But that's really just what we want to say on that. Nothing to it. That's just a way to finalise that bit, because I think that's a really good point to take. Really, there's just a lot of intervention going on these spaces, and just crap that's just interfering with other people's space, and the whole lot of it. When people are coming out and showing and a presentation, and they're just, you know, and all the lot of it there. So, you know, that's a continuity in itself of that going on. So I think good that people become more aware in a way that you know that is like something going on, so that maybe something might be sorted one day, and people might be having better options to maybe, like I say, they can manage a bit better when it comes down to it. You know, because that's what matters. I think it doesn't matter if it seems like the whole world is against, or you're not getting any reception. You have you know that awareness is a good thing to put out, just to tell for people, look, you don't have to like juggle all of that at all. You just have your own vibe. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, and that, you know, that should be checked. I personally wanted to make a specific note on that, because I feel like these things are not being explored properly, and people are not doing anything about it. And I think a lot should be done about that, so that it can make the spaces safer and nicer and more viable for different interests. But that's that. Like, it doesn't matter really. Like, it's just management, better ways to manage. So like, even if it feels like you got to remove everything in the space, that's fine. But you're just managing you're just managing the way you want, the way you prefer. You know, that goes a long way in the health of the streams. But we wanted to touch bases on that yet again, just for people that might be going through maybe similar, maybe not. That you feel like you're giving a lot of energies in anything. Like, you could be enjoying something, you could be like giving a passion for something, whatever it is, and you're just getting nothing but just, you know, just ignorance and just the whole lot of it. So yeah, like it's good that we pinned that. Because that's really overriding the internet space more than anything. Ignorance and agenda-driven narratives and other interventional things and all this other shit. More than anything. More than even putting up a cause at this point, or putting up an awareness point. Because that's just, at this point, what's the prevalence if you've got that shit going on. I'd have rather had a better space personally, regardless of what I'm tagging in, whether it's about this issue or that. I'd rather had a space I like to prefer personally. While other people are going to use that as their fuel. You know, it's just because there's always going to be people, users and idiots, that are just going to take the piss in whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter, that shouldn't concern you. Like, I just say to people, just focus on what you're doing and what makes you just think. You're just keeping yourself, whatever, yourself, you're doing your thing, nothing to worry. I think that's a problem on the internet space. That's a problem on that end that needs to be sorted out. And the honesty of what people are willing to put up with, and whether or not they're honest about the situation or not, or whether they're just going to fall for the next scam and what everyone's doing. Because I feel a lot more people are lured in by other people's behaviour and doing the same thing than they are questioning and taking up a responsibility. So you feel you don't have any way but just to do the same as someone else is doing, as an excuse. When I say just to do how you say it, because there's a lot of judgment around that. You're just, you know, regardless of what you tag in, whatever the cause, whatever you're speaking about, there's a lot of judgment in general around things, and that affects a lot when you're just trying to keep a space running. You know? That's why it would make a big difference, because, you know, yeah, like, you know, people could just have a way to manage their shit better, and they could just, you know what I mean? It's just nicer. It's more convenient for people. Like, you know, they can pick and choose what they like. They could, you know, it's, you know, they could just mitigate a lot in the way they like to perform, in the way they like to present. You know, but if more, like I say, more people are putting up with this crap, yeah, it's just, you're gonna just see how the chaos, you know, everywhere. So it's really nothing make a difference or not. Ours to us, you think? Because either way, it's not like we're not streaming, it's not like we're not sharing, but it does go a long way in reference to people's comforts and people's preference and people's like vibes and people's whatever. You know? And how they like to manage their content and the things of that sort. So they can keep a presentation running. As much as that's negated and not and being disrespected, still, like I said, they can still keep a space running and you know, the way they want. So I think before any fucking thing, like I said, before any fucking thing, before people even decide to look at why they're even coming into our space or someone else's space or whatever, I think, as I said again, as a reminder, what you all need on your internet platform is more measures for your own space. And that's just to end it. So that when you remove people, they don't come back again. We're just saying in general, you know, that's fine. They don't come back again. I don't care what account. They just did something about that. They IP ban them or something. You know, anything of that sort, because people don't think that they can just come and disrespect your space without any cause intended, just because they just want to. See, there's no room for that, and I think that should be sorted. Like, just for the future of this platform, it's nothing ours to us. We give a shit. We don't care. Because it's not like we're not getting on anyway. But it's just for the future, I think, to benefit the platform moving forward. People might feel like they like to manage as well. We're not the only ones. There needs to be a space and a respect for that. Because these places, unfortunately, your spaces are very messy. We don't mean to intervene on your, if it's, like I said, we're not here to intervene with the works as such. We're just giving a suggestion on a global spectrum so that all platforms can get that opportunity, as well as your bigger or wherever else. So as I said, that goes a long way before people even decide to click in the space. I think. But as on that note, enjoy the theatre, because since we're doing that, then that's the point. We're streaming.
Next time you'll not be so lucky. Yes.
Oh, is it tailing, or I think I'm tailing. It is red, so I would have thought maybe you gotta, whatever I'm gonna do with this, I'm not paying much attention. Or tail that.
I sing a different song, I promise. Che cazzo?
You can't expect people to do anything at the end of the day. But when they include that feature, that will make sure. Because at the end of the day, you don't try to speak sense into anything that is not in synchronicity with what you're doing. Simple as that. You don't. So that's why that option would be a very, very good option, because it would mitigate a lot, and it would just help people just remove any unwavered energy. That's it. That's just a way to mute the thing completely, because we just say to people, like as an example, you know, we may have been people that like to give impart our suggestions because we just want, but at the same time, no one should have to put up with anything that's like I said, they should have to put up with, and that feature would be paramount because that would sort that out immediately. Because people, like I said, you can't speak sense into people that are disrespecting your space, and not that. So that's why that feature would go a long way, to be specific, because that would just that would just solve that problem out immediately. So, unfortunately, there needs to be consequences for actions. Unfortunately, and people need to accept that. You know, and I think that feature will help that.
You can go wrong as far as I'm concerned, damn it.
Visiting an uncle? Does your grandma know where you are? Is there a special place? For what?
I'm glad we noted this in the videos. I'm glad. We're sure as hell gonna edit that.
Hey, you make it look easy.
I cannot do that.
Only the height of the smithy acts are available here. If you've no stomach for option, you would best turn away.
That always helps if you're feeling a bit like, oh, you missed a thing. Pausing the game, you could get a bit of a description there. And that's always good to make sure as well.
Guards, stop him! Help! It may be a monk, but my after-sales
I suppose you only appear to be calm.
But you, I want him stopped! Ora! Hey, you shouldn't be up here. Rimonstranza, giuramento. I cannot see. Where is he? There! But you! There! There! Get him! My position! Ps4! I'm looking for
Merda! Oh,
Leave me
madness!
alone! Leave me alone! Please! Please!
Run!
Damn!
Don't look! Just
I've got to
run!
get out of here!
I want no part of this. I want no...
Leave this place! As you value your life, run!
I have served dukes.
I'm nobody! Not important!
Leave me alone! I swear! I've nothing to do with
Oh,
anything!
I'm assuming that was an accident.
Guy we were gonna grab. But it seemed like we needed to press the things.
Hey, but my goods are worth the extra quattrini. I've never stopped shoddy merchandise. The time of the season's harvest shall extend to every second bushel after 10, and 3 quattrini per 100 weight of annaccia.
All yours.
Notice from the Guild of Brother Masons and Sculptors. Due to a shortage of stone,
Quella è Satana, ve lo dico io.
San Matteo. Please exercise caution when...
Oh!
I'm gonna go for a run these. What's this location? It's near this. Ah, my goodness.
Hey, get down! Now, you cannot escape! Righteous so low, you won't believe your eyes. What a madman.
Come and get your red hot heart. Come, friends, see the difference quality makes.
Get down, now! What in the devil are you doing up here?
These ones are getting more like thingy. Upper tier. Or down a tier because you're working underground.
He would kill himself, wouldn't he?
Assassino! Assassino! Don't forget to Presto! Presto!
How would you like to go?
Simple man! There's no need to swear!
Complete wipeout, flabbergasted. Smash with the weight of this. Ridiculous.
One more sent to the Lord. Attenzione! Attenzione! Be on your guard, citizens! An notorious criminal's presence is suspected in our parish.
Bring me your sick and wounded. Next time, then. Buona fortuna. Peace to the beasts in the wild, for all are pit. Speech. What's this?
Something in this location I saw. Maybe on glitch. I think the entrance is over here. Or maybe it's... Holy crap. Something around.
Salute. Come state,
One
gente?
little entrance. Another one of your
It's
workings.
getting easier and easier to hack into Abstergo's mainframe. It's like I know what data I'm looking for. I've already lived it.
Infinite knowledge. Its open mouth delivers the kiss of death. Great. So within the workings of this shit. Vietnam. What a more prominent theme. We're just sort of looking for an apple or something. Fucking cheeky bastards into the open mouth. So you can feed the other realms, yeah. You want to feed off your misery and your fear and your crap. That you submit, willingly submit, instead of what? Like what was the convenience? I just said like keep some things that at least you like going, enjoy to do, and learn something. So you'd think, because the open mouth of this shit here, the guy that calls it open destruction, or just something in the bazooka. Fair enough, the bazooka mouth. Leading the young to their end. And fair enough, yeah. That's why we don't say like, why don't you train your communities and have just for their knowledge instead of people being used. The flames from its throat poke out their eyes. The fact that they're using real images as well, that's just nuts. Taking the mick. What's this? Let's see. Fucking insane. Look at this, look at the base of that. apple. There we go. Possess that, yeah.